Welcome to the Awakened Mumma podcast, a space where we explore powerful healing modalities, deep conversation, and holistic tools to support your journey to wellness, wholeness, and empowerment. If you're ready to heal, grow, and rise, you're in the right place. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button so you never miss an episode. Thanks for joining us today, Becca. Can you introduce yourself to our viewers and share what inspired you to become an Akashic Records practitioner?
Yeah, so I have always been that magical child. I grew up in England. I'm now living in Canada. So I was always drawn to healing and to magic. And so I've always loved all the healing modalities, things like tarot cards and stuff. So I then also had things like Akashic Records always around me, and I never really was that interested in it. And then one day I just thought, you know what, I'm going to learn it. And I never looked back because it just came so naturally. And I saw what an amazing tool it is for everybody. So I absolutely love doing it now. And yeah, it was always going to be something that was my career.
So what exactly are the Akashic Records?
So the very simple way of saying it is imagine that everyone has their very own energetic library. And what you can do is you can go up to this library and it holds everything that your soul has ever done and ever could do. If you believe in past lives, it's got all of your past lives. It's got all your optimal future timelines, all of the possibilities. And so you can go up there, you can find out why you have things like limiting beliefs or relationship problems, or you can visit past lives. You can do so much stuff. You can go and do soul missions and things like that. You can really just delve as deep as you want into your soul or as deep as you want into your everyday life.
That's so interesting. And so how do they relate to our soul's journey?
So before you get incarnated in any lifetime, you have like a staff meeting with your guides and you decide what it is that you want to learn, what you want to discover, or how you want to grow as a soul. And so a lot of people, a lot of souls, sorry, that come down on Earth, they've chosen the really hard thing. Like this is like a hard level in the computer game. They've come down to learn about sadness and guilt and grief and hatred, because a lot of sort of realms don't have that. And this is a very low vibrating thing where we have polarity and we have the good versus evil and all this kind of stuff. And so yeah, the souls can just choose exactly how hard of a setting of the game that they want. And this is all to do with our soul mission. So some of us are here to help and heal and expand humanity, or to just do stuff for ourselves and just vibrate higher and learn more. And, you know, others is actually to be the bad, is to come in and sort of mix things up a bit and to challenge and to be the things in the way for these souls, to be the conflict. So it can get very, very interesting.
I can resonate with that. I believe that if we're here to learn the lessons, and if we don't learn the lessons in our lifetime, then we're coming back to learn them again
Yeah.
because we didn't get it right. So
Yeah.
I love that you mentioned the lessons there. So what's the process that you need for accessing them during a session?
Yeah, so there's a number of different ways that you can do it. A lot of practitioners, they'll do it kind of like a psychic medium. So they'll be sitting here and saying, I'm in your records and this is what happened to you, or this is what your guides are telling me. And it's like that kind of fortune telling type thing. You can very much do it yourself as well. Everyone who is alive today has total access to their Akashic records. You can do it in a group meditation type thing, or you can do it with someone like me and the few people that learned the way that I did, where I take you into the records and I'm just sort of your coach and I help you to hold your hand and help you visualize and understand what's going on up there. But at the end of the day, I want to then encourage you to do it by yourself. Now that you've gone in with me, you know what it's like, you know how to get in there, go do it yourself. And the best way is also, what's your preference? Like, you know, when you're meditating, some people, they like to just be alone in their room with the candles and the incense. Other people like doing it in groups. Other people like doing like a one-on-one with someone telling them how to meditate. And that's exactly the same with the records. So, you know, whatever your personal preference is, that's exactly how you can access it. And it's all about just quieting your mind, trusting your intuition, and just going up into your records. Once you're in there, the guides, they literally do their job and they guide you. They show you around, they show you what it is that you need to know, the answers, and even you can just go up and say, tell me something that I need to know. You don't have to go up with a problem or anything. They can just literally just say, okay, we're so glad you're up here because we need to talk about this, or we need to clear that from you. And yeah, it's absolutely unlimited and fascinating.
Perfect. So anyone can do this. What I'm getting from that is it's best to have someone like yourself as a guide to go through the experience first so you kind of know really what the process is.
Yeah, no, I find a lot of clients for maybe not really trust themselves. They'll think that maybe they're making it up. So it's nice to have that extra person to just sort of say something. So before you even tell me that you're seeing a red ball, I can say, oh, there's a red ball over there. And you're like, wow, I actually am seeing that red ball even before you said it, you know, so it's that confirmation that it's not something that you're making up. And I even have clients that they go and they do their own records for the majority of the time. But if it's a big question and they just need that reassurance, they'll come in with me just so that I can say, well, this is what I'm getting. And they're like, okay, good, because that's what I got too. I just wanted to make sure. So yeah, so it can be very much that. Like I said, some people are more confident and comfortable when they're doing it with someone else. And then other people, they just prefer to do it by themselves, and that's fine too. Like, you know, you can learn from books, you can ask someone like myself, you can do the guided meditations on YouTube if you want a kind of in between thing. There's so many ways to do it, but you absolutely 100% have access to your own records because they are yours, they are attached to your soul. And because of that, you're not going to be locked out of your own soul. You're not going to be locked out of your own guidance team. It's just, I feel that, you know, we're taught and programmed now in this day and age that we don't have that. We're kind of severed from a divine or whatever, like from, you know, if you believe in God or whatever, there is like a severance still, right? So yeah, we're not actually severed. We still have that connection, and you can absolutely get up there and discover your soul.
I love that. I think that as a society, people have really lost their own ability to just tune into their intuition. And I think that if you practice that and learn to listen to your own body first, you can get better at tuning into others. And when you're intuitive, you really can be receiving those brainwaves from other people to sort of before people say something, you really know what's coming. Like, yeah, you're going to be on the same wavelength. So I love that the more people can just tune into themselves, the better their experience is going to be to trust themselves. And so, what information comes through? What sort of experiences can people expect?
So it's always different. You could tell me that you want to go up and find out about a money block, say, or a new career or a relationship or something. And once we're up there, you guys might say, no, actually, it's this other thing that we're going to go do. And we go do that. Or I think, oh, well, that sounds like a past life thing. So we'll probably be going up there and doing some past life stuff. And it's not. We go into something when you were a child and it's actually stemming from that. So it's always really different. It's always very personal to the person because it's your soul, it's your records. But yeah, we can do absolutely anything up there, and there's so many different ways of doing it. So, and literally, I just go with the guidance of that person's guides because they know the best way to do it. That could be something like discovering why you chose to have that block in place, or sometimes we've even kept a soul contract or a soul vow from a past life, which we already learnt the lesson. We don't need that anymore, but for some reason our soul is still holding on to that. And so we've carried that through multiple lives since, and we didn't need to suffer with it anymore. It's like that comfort blanket, right? So the guides are just like, with
Yeah.
those cases,
Let
they're
it
just like,
go.
yeah, we can just sever that. That's not a problem. And then other times it's like, well, you have to go back to this past life and we have to help the past life through it. And that's actually fascinating too, because you can go back and you kind of almost counsel yourself in a past life and tell them, it's okay now to let that go or to give me that gift back. So the best way to kind of talk about, like, say, a healer, and someone was persecuted for healing people in a past life, like they were accused of witchcraft or something. So they said to themselves, I'm never going to heal anyone again. And now in this lifetime, you want to be a healer and things like that, but there's something blocking you from doing that. And so you can go back to your past life and say, that's just terrible what happened to you. And I understand why you would do this, but in this day and age, people want the healers. Like, we're sought after, we're needed in society now. And can you just release that back? And you're actually healing your past life, and then any lives in between are also getting that healing too. And yeah, it's just a beautiful thing to watch.
I think a lot of people in this day and age have healing to do, and I can resonate with the feeling of helping people overcome goals and hurdles in their life, in their health. And I can imagine how good it would feel for you to help people access this sort of stuff. That's obviously these things, they'll have traumas and certain things that are really blocking them in their life. And so to be able to help people through whatever it is that's coming up for them, because you can access these and benefit as a mum in particular, can't you? So how, if you can explain and go through how mums can benefit from this.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely, loads of ways. So you probably almost certainly have soul contracts with your children. So that's a soul to soul agreement that, because your children will choose you as their mum. So, sometimes that's a bit hard when your own mum maybe isn't so great, but you chose her for your lessons as well. So your children chose you to be their mum. You had an agreement between your souls that you would teach your children certain lessons in this lifetime, and they would probably be teaching you some in return. And so that's a lovely thing as well. So because some people, they say, oh, I don't know why I don't get on with my child, or my child is my best friend, kind of thing. And there's so many different relationships that you have with your children, but it's all down to this soul level of what you had wanted to experience from each other. So as a mom, your role is one to bring them into this world, and that's like the portal of bringing their soul into this lifetime. So for better or worse, your relationship with your mom, like, she's that magic that brought you in, and that was a soul agreement to begin with in the first place. But then you can also use the Akashic Records to find out about your children. Now, your Akashic Records are your Akashic Records, and they can't really tell you so much about other people because you can't really ask about other people. It's more to do with your soul. But when it's a connection like mother and child, your guides and their guides are very close. So you can really talk to them. And I actually have a client who has 3 children, and we went up once and we spoke to all 3 of her children's guides. They actually came through to her record and were telling her things about each one of her children and how to raise each child. Each child was very, very different. and what the guides wanted her as a mother to do and how to treat them. Like, one of the children's very wild and stuff, and it's like you need to encourage that, but you also need to focus him. You need to focus that energy in him. And then another child is very magical and healing and stuff, and then they're like, yeah, you need to bring in that creative energy more and that healing and that magic with her more. And that was just a beautiful thing, because I warned her beforehand that we might not get very much because you can't really talk about other people. Yeah, and I mean, there's also maybe lessons that you have done for yourself, like you wanted to be a mum in this lifetime, to experience certain things. So whatever relationship you have or don't have with your children, it would be things that you wanted to experience through that mother lens. Even if they're not children that you birthed yourself, if you're an adoptive mother or a surrogate mother, even after you birth them, but like, a different types of mothers. These are all things that you wanted to experience motherhood through, that creative, divine feminine through. And yeah, there's just so much that I could talk about and just go off on a tangent, but I will stop there unless you have a follow-up.
That's so powerful. What a powerful tool to be able to use as a mum. I love that. Can you give us an example of another story where you've helped a client go through who's not a mum? So someone who they may be a mum, but they were using their own Akashic records for whatever it is that came up for them.
Yeah, anything in particular that, like, any kind of subject that you want to know about? I'm limited.
You choose
Okay.
something that just really stood out to you that you'd love to share with us.
Well, I recently did a client who was having a problem with two of her children. And they're adult children now, but it's been stemming from when they were younger. So I will go the motherhood route here, just because it's so interesting. And so she never had a good relationship with her daughter, but she had a very close relationship with her son. And there's only 2 years between them. There was no traumatic births or no event that happened that would make the relationship any different between these two children. Anyway, we went into her records and we discovered that it was, do you know about the rose line? About how it's the line through the women in your family. So it's you and then your mother and her mother, and you're all connected through your women lineage, and it's a very, very powerful line. And so she found out that her relationship with her daughter wasn't good because of the women line in her family. At one point, one of the women was not a very nice woman. She was very, very abusive and all of this stuff to her daughter. And then that trauma then carried on down the line of the women. And so it was represented to us as an umbilical cord that went from my client to her daughter, to her granddaughter, and then back through her mom, her grandmother, and all the way back to the original person. And the original person to my client and all of that, it was a black umbilical cord. And that was that trauma being passed down. And then it went on then to her daughter and her granddaughter. And so we did a healing on this umbilical cord that went all the way back and healed all of these relationships. All the women after that couldn't bond with their daughters properly. And that was a really, really interesting thing. So then her granddaughter was actually put on the earth at this time as well to help her grandmother bridge this gap and to bring the healing into the family, into that lineage as well. So that was just such a beautiful one, and that was such a recent one too, which is why it was in my memory, and it's a motherhood one as well, so it fits with your podcast.
That's really interesting to just even picture how that has progressed down the line with the image of the black umbilical cord. If listeners can just take one thing away from this conversation about working with Akashic Records, what would you want it to be and why?
Literally the same thing that I say to everyone, like it's an empowerment thing, it's a trust in yourself, and it's to know that there's this amazing, immense library, literally, of your soul that you can go into anytime. And especially for mothers as well, it can be so healing. It can help with all parts of motherhood, all parts of your family life. So even if that's the only reason you want to go in there, that's unlimited stuff that you can do in there, and then you can branch out to all your other things as well. But yeah, it's such an amazing tool. I cannot emphasize enough how much everyone needs to at least try it and see how amazing that they feel afterwards. You don't have to believe in anything spiritual. I have a lot of clients that don't really believe in that kind of stuff, and they're still very, very quick to access it. They're still very, very quick to find healing from it, and they are amazed as well. So absolutely anyone should try it, and just empower yourself to shape your own reality, to shape everything that you want from your life, and it's all there for you.
Awesome. And is there a process to be able to prepare for a session that anybody needs to go through?
Yeah, so you have to do things like grounding. So the easiest way is just imagine there's like roots or something coming out your feet into the earth, and then just open the top of your head. If you know about chakras, it's the crown chakra. Open that up and just invite in whatever energy, higher power you want. So that can be God, that can be the universe, anything like that. Just invite that in so that you're connected to the earth, but you're also connected to that higher realm. And then you just breathe, you relax. We usually say a thing called the prayer or the key. You can make this up yourself. You can definitely Google it. I can send it to anybody that wants to use the one that I use. There's also a lady called Linda Howe who writes a lot of Akashic Records books. So if you're interested, read those. She has the pathway process as well, which is the same thing. It's just quite long. And you just say that, and it's a way of focusing your mind to invite yourself in. And then first couple of times I would just say, imagine a door. Just imagine a door. What would that door look like? Go through there, go down a path, see a building, and that's your building. Go into your building. It's usually like a library, but whatever it shows as, just go with it. You'll feel comfortable, you'll feel safe. If you don't feel comfortable and safe, then you're not there. Just leave and go back in, and then once you're there, you can just ask for guides to come and tell you, to say, I would like a guide to help me with my money blocks, or I want to know about my life mission, or whatever it is. And then from there, they'll literally guide you as to how to find the answers. When you're ready, just leave. Feel yourself coming back in your body, wiggle your fingers and toes like you do when you come out of meditation, and just say the records are now closed. It's super simple, and I'm always happy to do like a quick call with anybody and just like walk them through it a little bit and just help them sort of get started on it as well, like a little quick consultation, free one, and so that they get an idea of what they can do. Yeah, it's very, very simple. It's just like anything else. You just need to, practice it.
So you mentioned your prayers. Do you want people to comment below, or do you have somewhere where people can come over to you to access them? But let us know where your platforms are.
Yeah, so I'm on Instagram at Holistic Becca. I'm also on Facebook at Ember Healing. I can give you my website, but otherwise just check out those social media things, and there's the link to the Linktree there as well with all the other things. I don't have the prayer necessarily written down anywhere, but contact me in any way and I can send you it. Or like I said, Linda Howe, that should be online if you just Google that and pathway prayer. and then that will come up with the actual prayer there, and just fiddle with it, make it your own, and make it something that resonates with you, and then that's the best way to go in.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much for joining us today and sharing all about the Akashic Records. It's such an interesting topic, and I really think that people can learn how to overcome so much in their life that is blocking and stopping them, and really just find out their life's purpose. So thank you for sharing. And I'd love for people to just drop a comment below if they have experience doing this, they've done it before, really what they took out of it, or what their key takeaways from today's episode are.
Absolutely. Yeah. And if anyone has any questions, I'm very, very happy to answer those. So, yeah, questions in the comments or private message me. Absolutely happy to talk to anybody about it. Thank you so much for having me.
Awesome. Thank you. Thanks for being here, beautiful souls. The Awakened Mumma podcast is a special place for us to grow, heal, and rise together, because you're never alone on this journey. I'd love to connect with you, so don't be shy. Please comment below your takeaways and let us build this empowered community. Remember to hit like, hit subscribe, and join me every Sunday at 2:22 Angel Numbers for more conversations to support your wellness, wholeness, and awakening. I'm truly grateful you're here.